Okay, welcome everyone. Kevin LaRocca here with Binary Pro Strategies. Today's going to be the weekly recap for 8-9 of 2019. And I'll tell you, it was a kind of a tough week. In fact, it's probably the worst week that I've had in a while. I've had 3 sessions here being in the red. What's interesting, though, is 80% of my first trades for all these 10 sessions, I was still hitting at 80%. So this really goes back to my main premise that I talk about in the fundamental video. And by the way, if you don't have a copy of that, just go ahead to my website, binaryprostrategies.com, put in your email address, and we'll go ahead and send you a link so you can go ahead and get a hold of that fundamental video. But one of the things that I always say is come into the day and have an objective. And that's the way that I've always traded. That's the way that I started trading when I first got into trading binary options. And only until I opened up the chat room did I start actually trading all day long. And I really did that for the benefit of my students. But I'll tell you what, it's not necessarily beneficial to my own personal account, because what I'm finding is that, I can typically hit my objective first thing in the morning. But then as the day goes on, I find that I get chopped up. I get a lot of distractions, and I miss a lot of the good trades, and I end up taking a lot of the weaker trades, or the trades where there just isn't any momentum follow through. So that's something I'm going to have to address. I may go back to doing that on my own personal account, coming in, hitting my objective, getting out, and then continue to provide signals or setups, I should say. I don't provide signals, provide the setups of all the patterns that I teach for the students that want to go ahead and trade throughout the day. But once again, even if you're doing that, the ideal situation is to find a period of time that works very well. I've always said first thing in the morning and in evenings are usually the best time to trade. I like Sunday nights. This particular Sunday night was probably a second worst session I had. Yeah, looking at second worst session I've had, not only this week, but that's probably the worst session I've had all year on a Sunday night. So I really took a look at that and tried to understand why that was. And I think a lot of it was due to distractions, which do continue. But the thing is that when we're looking at losses, I find it very important to analyze all my trades. So what I do is at the end of the night, I look at all my trades. I look at my charts, as you can see here on the background here, and I see what I can do to improve. And I ask myself, was it actually a setup, or was I getting in too early? Was it not one of my setups? Was I considering EOM? All those things play an important part. And sometimes you can do everything right and it still loses. And you know what? Don't overanalyze that. You just say, yep, I did everything right. Give yourself a pat on the back. You just lost. That's part of trading. You're never going to trade at 100%. Okay. So you say, okay, I did everything right. So there's really nothing to learn from that loss. Okay. Because I know what I trade and I know the patterns that I trade work. And so you just move on to the next trade. Now, the other thing is, if you go and you see that, well, maybe there wasn't a setup. Maybe I heard something on the news and I was trying to play some news spikes, or maybe, it was pretty slow and I wasn't making a lot of trades. So I decided I just want to go in and have some action. Well, that's the worst thing you can do as well. And those are the trades you want to say, okay, so what can I do next time? When I have that urge to start trading, even though there's not a setup there, you have to discipline yourself to walk away. And there's been times when I've walked away from the screen for a couple hours. I started the morning getting choppy and I walk away from the screen, and then I come back later on, check out the market, put on a position or so, see how it does, because I'm going to know and you're going to know eventually what the day's going to be like by your results. Okay, your results are probably going to be the best indicator of what the market conditions are. If you're doing everything right and you're taking losses, that means the market conditions aren't right, and you have to sit back and you have to wait for better EOM. Okay, or there's news out there, or it's very thin. Those are the kind of markets you kind of want to stay away from. That's why EOM is so important. Okay, so you come in every day with a game plan. You say, okay, my game plan today is make $50 or $100 or whatever it is. You come in, once you hit that objective, you step away. You walk away. You close down that account. If you want to keep trading, open up a demo account and practice on a demo account. But when you're trading live, you're trading a real account, you do want to come in and don't trade all day. That's what I do, only because, and it's the only time I started doing this since I opened up this chat room. But I'm finding more and more distractions throughout the day as I'm taking on more students. I'm working with people on the phone. I'm getting distracted, and what I'm tending to do is I'm coming and going in the market. And see, my patterns are really designed to be sequential. You have to trade them in a sequence because I know that whatever pattern that I trade, if it does not work, then it's probably because the momentum in that particular direction isn't strong. You're going to find better momentum maybe going in the opposite direction. But in a case like that, the only way you're going to be able to trade that is you have to be making every trade. If you're jumping in and jumping out and jumping in and jumping out, you're missing the sequence. You're missing the power or the benefits of how these patterns work. And that is not a good way to trade. So, and I found myself doing that a lot this week too. So, not a good week. A lot of it, I would say 80% of it had to do with me, because I've had students that they were winning every single day and they were making money, but yet here I am and I'm teaching them how to trade, and I'm making dumb mistakes just by getting too distracted and letting distractions get in the way of my trading. You just can't do that. And so that's real important. Set a time aside when it's quiet. You don't have the kids around. You know, you can sit in your office, give yourself at least a couple hours, focus on it, make those trades, and you're going to see a lot better results. But, you know, overall, I mean, $1,500, you know, when you think about it in the big scheme of things, it's not bad. But what I'm more concerned of is having 3 losing sessions in a row. That's just unlike my trading. And so after giving it a lot of thought, I know what it is, and I have an idea on how I'm going to fix that. But nonetheless, okay, so let's look at some of the charts here. Oh, let me go back and show you one other thing. Yeah, see, 80%. So what I do here is I go back and I look at every first trade that I make for that particular session. So at the night session, was my very first trade out of the gate a winner? And yes. And so Monday morning, was it? No. Monday evening, yes. Yes, yes, no. So 80% of my very first trades on each one of the sessions, okay, were profitable. So once again, that talks about, that goes in and proving my premise that when you come in, you hit your objective and you get out. There was many times I would have hit my objective and made money, but because I decided I wanted to trade and trade in the conditions that maybe weren't as strong as they were first thing, then, you know, you kind of pay the price. Sometimes you do awesome. Sometimes you just hit it all day long and you have these huge days, you know, and that's fine. But the problem with that is it's a lot more stressful. And so the key to trading, there's a lot of things that you want to pay attention to. The one thing is stress, and you want to make sure that you keep your decision process down to a very minimum, and you also want to keep your stress down to a minimum. And that's why I like coming in with an objective, making several trades and getting out. That's better than trying to trade all day long and getting frustrated with you know, the way the markets are acting and everything like that. It's a very stressful way to trade. Don't recommend it. And anyhow, go back to just set your objective and come in and hit it. So, all right, so let's take a look at some of these charts here. So this chart down here is Sunday night, August 4th. And you can see, I mean, the other thing is when you come in and you, as a new trader, the best thing to do is trade a single pair. Find the pair that you like. It doesn't matter if it's the Aussie over here or the Euro or the Pound US or the Yen. Stick with it, okay? But you can see this particular night had a lot of, look at all those spikes going on. A lot of just follow through that couldn't hold. You know, you have crazy moves like this on the downside like that, and then you have all these candles here where you have spikes to the upsides and spikes to the downside, and just a very tough trading condition. And so what I found is Sunday night I was putting size on on some of these trades that normally would hold, but they didn't, and so I'd end up getting chopped up, and that's really what cost me there. Is just jumping around too much. Should have stayed with just one or two really strong pairs. Totally stayed away from the yen, and I would have had a much better night. But that's part of trading. You have to make the decisions. Sometimes they're going to be right, sometimes they're going to be wrong, and you just have to live with it and try to do better next time. So that's all we can do. So anyway, that was Sunday night. Let's take a look at the next one. Okay, so this is going to be Monday morning, and I do this for night, and these are all available for my students. I'm putting them up, and I am putting them up, all these charts, day and night sessions, so they can take a look at some of these signals. But for this purpose, here on YouTube, I'm just doing a day session, so I'm just showing you the day session. Much better day session, $422. And what I did is I tried to really stick to one, and my favorite is the Aussie, or the Euro, I'm sorry, the Euro US. And I tried to stick with just one or two, and that did pay off pretty well by sticking here with just the, let me see if I can move this out of the way a little bit here. By just sticking with the Euro, and also sticking with the what was it? It was a pound, I think. Yeah, it was a pound. So just sticking with these two markets. I did a little bit of trading over here in the yen. Still tough time on the yen, but as you can see from the German US, I'm sorry, the pound US, you could see that it did much better. So just trading these two turned out to be profitable, and I followed that in the night session too. I did the same thing, and was very profitable. So then we come into Tuesday. These are the charts for Tuesday. Tuesday was a really kind of one of those days to where, if you didn't focus, you really could have gotten chopped up, because you can see still a lot of wicking going on here, and I think it was it the yen, or was it may have been it was the yen. The yen this week has been really crazy. The yen had some just like these kind of crazy moves and these crazy spikes. But in this case, trading the Euro over here and trading the Aussie, I made some very nice trades. And when I did put on size, when I'm talking about size, I'm only talking like 3 contracts, 1 to 3. I trade 1 to 3 now. So, doing 3 contracts after a loss, or waiting for better correlation, that's something else I teach. Then that certainly paid off, and I still had a very, very nice nice day. So let's go down to take a look at the next chart here. Okay, so this is what this is going to be Wednesday. Wednesday. Oh my God, Wednesday was absolutely the worst session all week. I thought Sunday was bad. Oh, it was horrible. And you know what really hurt me is, I don't know why I was trading this yen, but it seems like every trade I took, I was losing on the yen. You can see there was a lot of no trades I didn't take, and I'm glad I didn't take them. But it seems like the ones that I did take, there was a win there, but there was a loss there. I can't get all these in here and let you see everything, because it'd be so crunched up you wouldn't be able to see one thing. You wouldn't be able to see you wouldn't be able to see the action. You wouldn't be able to see the win-loss. But prior to this, was it 8? I think I started trading a little bit earlier than 8, was it? Anyway, or was it later in the afternoon? I can't remember, but I remember yen really kind of took me to the cleaners that day, and so everything else was awesome. Had I just stayed to the 2 strongest, which are the Euro and the Aussie, I would have been fine. But I figured I'd go in and correct it in the evening, and that's exactly what I did, and ended up making $280. So kind of cushions this loss over here a little bit for the day, but still definitely red on Wednesday. So let's look at Thursday. Thursday got a much better day. I mean, today it was just like everything was hitting. I didn't take a screenshot of all of them. I took a screenshot of the individual ones. So this is actually my favorite, which is the Euro US. And this is all the day's actions. And you can see I had a lot of winning trades on this day here. Okay, it was just, it was in sync with the market. And everything was just hitting beautifully. You can see started off in the day, the first couple of trades were winners. And that goes back to, once again, that same premise of, you know, come in early, hit an objective, get out. Don't trade through all this. Definitely don't recommend trading through all this. So, but still, nice day overall. And so these are the kind of markets that I like. Okay, so, and most of them were like that. I think the Euro was all, I mean, the Aussie and the pound were pretty good Thursday as well. So I know I made some trades there, but most of my focus was really on the Euro in this case, and it turned out to be very profitable, which once again, sticking to one pair helps quite a bit, particularly when we're talking about losses, because the last thing you want to do is take a loss over here on the Euro, and then at the same time you have a signal again, say on the Aussie or the pound, and you take a loss. Yeah, you're going to take two losses instead of just taking one loss. The opposite of that is, yeah, you could take it, and if they're a win, maybe both of them are going to be a win, depending on the correlation. But you're going to find that you've got to, starting off, you want to keep those drawdowns down. So always best, smaller counts, stick with just one pair and just trade the sequence. Or you could wait for a loss to occur, because very seldom do you have two losses in a row. It can happen, and it will happen, and it does happen. But it's rare. Usually in most cases, you're only going to have one loss in a row, so definitely take advantage of that as well. So, and typically what I'll do in a situation like that, I'll put on size if I like what I'm seeing across the board. So, very nice Thursday night. Friday, typical Friday, just kind of dead. Not a lot of action. I was making money, I was losing money, making money, losing money. Most of what I like to do is on Thursdays is you always start off with very light positions. I don't really try to trade across the board. And I know my very first trade, I believe it was in the, trying to think here. Yeah, it was in the Aussie. I came out making that first trade was a winner right there. And then I had a lot of trades there, or no trades, meaning that NT means no trade. That means either there was no premium, I couldn't get any premium, or I just didn't take it for whatever reason. So that's what that means. So, I mean, I know I started the day well, and then as I went into the rest of the day, I started getting chopped up. So $98, keep it under $100. That's a reasonable loss. Like I said, overall, not a bad week, but certainly disappointing in the sense that that I was coming out on these sessions in the red, which is pretty unusual. So anyhow, that's kind of it. If you like these videos, always please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. I am getting ready this week to release the pattern that I found with the FT100. It is based on an hourly chart. I don't trade FT100s. I don't trade hourlies. It's just something that I found. Somebody was talking to me about a pattern that was similar to this, and one of the other, I think it was either the US 500 or it may have been the Germany 30. It's one of those. Anyway, so I looked at the FT100 and I found the pattern does seem to do pretty well. It's about a 70%. So I couldn't tell you exactly how to trade that because I don't trade hourlies. But certainly it could be something, maybe if you do trade hourlies, maybe use it as a filter. I think it would help quite a bit. But anyway, I'll get that released this week. If you want that, once again, just go to my website and provide me with your email address. Everybody's email address that I already have will get a link to it. Okay, and I'm actually going to try to do a little video on it. So I'll do a little video on it and go ahead and release that to everybody. And you don't have to be a member to get that. It's going to be free. So that's it. I'm having a feeling this coming week's going to be a better week. It usually is. It's just like days. You have these big days, and then you have days that aren't so do very well. So it's just like wins typically follow losses. or you have losses follow wins. Seems to be the same thing when you're trading. Sometimes you have these huge days where you just kill it, and the next day gets really tough. And that's where you have to be careful. You have to kind of keep that in your mind and be ready to throttle down when you're having a tough day. Just know that things are going to get better, which is real typical for the night session. If the morning session is tough, it tends to do much better at night. Or if you've had a really good day overall, then maybe get ready to throttle down a little bit the next day. Doesn't always happen, but happens enough to be aware of it and to adjust. Because there's a lot of trading days. We don't have to be aggressive every single day. You only want to be aggressive when the markets are working for you, and you're going to know it because you're going to be winning. If you're making money, then that means you're trading the right conditions. If you're losing, that means you need to pull back, step away, and wait for conditions to get better. Okay. So anyway, that's it. I'll be back next week with the next recap, and I hope everybody has a profitable week. Y'all take care. Okay, so if you're interested in learning exactly how I do this, I do offer 2 different packages. And the way this is set up is that if you want to learn about the core strategy package, now that isn't going to include all the videos. You're going to get full access to all my training videos and educational material. You're going to get full disclosure of the core strategy, which I use a lot, particularly the single and double continuation patterns. The majority of all the results that you see on my daily returns is going to be based off of those 2 patterns, okay? I also do trade the Delta pattern, and I also will show you how to use the nibble strategy. The nibble strategy is designed to catch very short-term trades, and I'll show you exactly how to use that in combination with some of the other core patterns. Also, how to transition from demo to a live account. This is very important. That video is also included. As you know, it's also available on YouTube for free. But how to transition from a demo to a live account is very important. Something you need to watch. Don't just jump in and start trading in a live account. You want to learn the strategy, and you want to make sure that you're profitable. I'd say at least 9 out of every 10 days. And then when you get ready to transition to a live account, please watch the video, because there's some really good steps on how to make that transition. Also, when you purchase the package, you're going to get a 1-hour personal training with me. So you and I will do a one-on-one, and I'll make sure that you fully understand everything and how it works. Now, this package is designed to pretty much purchase and go if you'd wish. You can purchase, watch everything, and go out and trade on your own. Now, if you want to learn about the core strategy, plus the crystal ball, basically you're getting everything in here. You're getting the core strategy, but you're also going to get the you're going to learn the crystal ball method. That's something that's available. That's a video that is not available online. That's something you and I will once again sit down and go through and make sure you fully understand it. Now, if you decide that you want to go just with the core strategy and learn the crystal ball at some point, I'll just charge you the difference between the core strategy price and then the full price that includes the crystal balls. I'll just charge you the difference between the 2. Okay, so these are designed to basically purchase, learn them, and then go and do your own trading and so forth. Now, if you wish to join me live as I trade live every day, which I highly suggest, because what I do is I also, not only do I share my charts, but I show you where I'm getting in, where I'm getting out, what strike, what price, why I'm doing it, what I'm seeing in the market. It's well worth it, and that's only going to be $50. Okay, so if you want to, once again, if you just want to learn things on your own, you can purchase the package and move on. If you want to learn the package and then also join my live trading room, chat room, then that's just $50 a month, and that's $50 reoccurring as long as you want to stay. There's no time limit, so if you want to stay 2 months, 3 months, a year, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's just $50 a month. Okay, so if you're interested, you want to go to binaryprostrategies.com, and in there under join now, click on that little button. It'll pop up. You'll see this, and you can go ahead and purchase one of these 2 packages, and or if you're a reoccurring member, you can go ahead and join the monthly if you're not already part of the chat room. So any questions, as always, you can always get a hold of me by going to the website. My phone number's there, email address, and so forth. So if you like to do that, feel free to give me a call. I'll be glad to answer any of your questions before you make a decision. But everything I teach is fully disclosed. I'm not holding anything back. I am here to educate. I'm not a signal provider. That doesn't do you any good by me just giving you my signals. I'm here to teach you how I see the signals, and I want you to learn them as well and be able to identify them as well as I do. And then, this way you are free to trade on your own. You don't need me around all the time. But for those that like to stay in the chat room and trade with us live every day, that's always an option as well. So that's it. Thanks once again for watching my video, and you'll have a great day.